Hey, Mitch. Thanks for taking the time today. Good to see you. I thought that Tuesday was a very strong day for you guys on the offensive line, particularly on the interior. I would like your thoughts on that, and whether there's been some frustrating moments early on here in camp, kind of building to that moment.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that question. I think Tuesday was a defining day for our team in regards to it felt like a regular training camp, right? You put three padded days together. You got to dig a little deep a little bit. You got to find it because it's easy to come out and just try to get through the day. And I think the offensive line, and for that matter, the whole team came out with a mentality of let's just get some work done because it really is we are very close to this first game. Yeah, I think, like you said, there's been some extremely frustrating moments for everyone, but especially the offensive line. One of the things that coach says is preaches to the defenses affect the quarterback and for the offenses to protect. And I think we are working out some kinks, and we still are. But yesterday was a good day, and we were able to communicate and hopefully put more of those days together. And understanding that it's not going to be perfect, but let's make sure we get it as close to perfect as possible because we're going to face some really tough defenses and some tough defensive coordinators these first few weeks.
And it's no secret how much you guys enjoy playing for Bobby Johnson. What's he been like while you guys have been acclimating, and how important has that close relationship there been to kind of help you guys along?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Bobby is, I was talking about this earlier. He knows when to be as serious as possible, kind of can't, coaching, getting his point across any way he can, but at the same time, understanding when to lighten it up, right? Because as professional athletes, we feel the worst about our mistakes. That's why we're here. And sometimes the last thing you need to do is double down on that and just, give someone the business. And sometimes you need to give them a pat on the back or understanding your players. And Bobby does that tremendously. And it's been fun to see him grow as a coach. I think he's really trying to put his best foot forward, as we all are. And we have this limited amount of time, so there's definitely a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, understanding that if we put too much on ourselves and we get outside of our zone, is when we make mistakes that we can control.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank you.
Mitch, Thad Brown, WRC and Rochester. You got the scrimmage coming up tomorrow. Closest you're probably going to get to a preseason game this year. How much would you normally, in the regular process of getting ready for a season, do you need that 100% go opportunity that a preseason game would normally give you?
Yeah, preseason is one of those funny things. First of all, training camp is one of those necessary evils you have. No one really looks forward to training camp. If you do, you don't really trust them. You know what I mean? It's just, it's gnarly. But, preseason games, they're around for a reason. Coach is going to put us in an opportunity to mimic as much of a game as possible. We're still taking care of our guys. We won't be cutting out there, and we're still teammates. So there'll be that fine line of finishing, but, at the same time, understanding that we're not going to take shots on our dudes. I think we'll get dressed a little bit, go through a regular routine, and if anything, it gets us reacclimated to what it's like, and get the new guys understanding what a game day is like here and even on the road. Just because each team's different, especially rookies coming to this team or new guys or even us vets who forgot a little bit. So it'll be fun. It'll be exciting, but at the same time, understanding that if you make mistakes, it's okay as long as we make them now. We don't want to make mistakes. No one does, but right now is when we work out some kinks, test some stuff out. The coaches are going to do the same thing, put in different positions. Coaches are going to put us in game-like positions so that coaches can make plays and see if they like them or not, and us players go out and just fly around.
Is offensive line maybe the one position group in this shortened preseason that can get as close to what you would normally have as a training camp prep, because you're the only position group on the field that doesn't have to tackle or be tackled? You can kind of simulate what you have to do, without having that full goal situation.
Yeah, if we're tackling or being tackled, something's very wrong. Not so much tackling, but I think having padded practices is nice. As much as they tear you up and you dread them sometimes, for offensive linemen, you can't really replicate that with pad or without pads. So, I would say so. I think tackling is going to be a big thing. Coaches put us in positions in practice where certain periods are live, and that's good, even for us offensive linemen going, picking up our running back or picking up the ball carrier or just finishing towards the ball. He's done such a good job of understanding the situation and how to get us to where we need to be.
Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, Mitch. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate that, number one.
Of course.
And number two, what impacts or effects do you expect having no fans in the stands to have on team in general, and that would include like the inspirational, motivational aspect of fan support, offense in particular, and you in particular as a center?
Yeah, very, very poignant questions. You definitely do feed off the crowd. There's no denying that, especially in a place like Buffalo where the fans are fantastic and they bring the juice, they bring the energy. It'll be interesting to hear everything that the defense is saying for the most part. They're going to hear what we're saying. I think the mental aspect of the game is going to be so important this year. Not so much the X's and O's, but the psychological aspect of it. Understanding yourself, understanding, ebbs and flows of the game and how that's going to be different just with the crowd and stuff like that. So for me, communication is going to be extremely important, and not being afraid to speak up even if there's no fans, and not being afraid for the other guys to hear me. So it will be such a unique experience, Vic. Nothing like I've ever seen, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more insight after that first game. But none of us are quite sure. We just got to be as flexible as possible.
And follow up in similar context. Are you wearing any sort of protective face wear in practice with COVID in mind? You and if you can speak for other linemen, because it seems to be more of a concern there. And if so, whether you are or you aren't, your thoughts just on that.
Yeah, I can only really speak for myself, and I am not. Whether it be for communication purposes or other than that, I don't think when the bullets are flying and we're really making contact and we're in piles of a face mask is going to really protect us. And that's not a bad thing. It's just in my opinion. I know some teams are, and if it makes a difference, or even psychologically makes a difference, I think that's fantastic. I think there's there's a safety net in us getting tested every day and trusting that guys are taking care of themselves outside of the facility. We had that weird thing that happened a few days ago, which was anomaly. But it's just adaptability, and I think if there actually is a correlation that they can prove that it's good, then I'm sure we'll wear it. I just haven't heard anything. That's just me, and right now I'm not.
Thank you, Mitch.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, Mitch. George Radley, Challenger Community News and 105.5 The Beat radio station. Question I have for you. When you're on your position, I noticed centers that use your, because you seem to squat and get really low. And I noticed, how did you learn that technique? And I noticed the centers that use the technique that you use, they seem to those centers all look quick. They look faster than the centers that are in a more traditional stance.
Well, I think I think it really is definitely, I don't know if anatomical is the right word, but it's for your body type. For me, I'm a taller guy with very short arms. So if I need to get the ball, I got to get down there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Every center stance is different. It's just how the good Lord made you, and what you're comfortable with. And some quarterbacks, like if you see the centers who play with Tom Brady, he likes the centers a certain way. He likes their backside up a little bit more just to make it easier for him. So you definitely have to make that in play. But for me, it's just I have short arms and a long body. I got to get down there, and the only way I can do that is bending quite low and making that work for me.
So you always use that. You always use that technique.
Yeah, it's a unique question. I hadn't even really thought about it. Yeah, but I think it's just whatever you can do to make your job the easiest. And some guys figure that out on the fly, and some guys, you just got to listen to your body. And however you can do your job and get in that stance is how you're going to do it.
All right, great. It does look quicker though. You guys do seem like you come off the ball quicker than the traditional side.
Because we got to haul. Yeah, these dudes are fast as hell out here. We got to haul ass, so
Right.
we're trying to get out as fast as possible.
And my second question is, if they go with similar to what we're seeing with baseball and basketball with the piped in fan noise, even the Oakland A's, they even have the popcorn guy talking about get your popcorn here and all that. You even hear that on the TV broadcast of the games. Do you think that'll be tougher than having real fans versus piped in fan noise?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that'll be another thing that when we play our first away game, if they let that go down, we'll have more insight for you. But when you're so enveloped in the game, you really tone it out. I'm sure it'll give a little bit of extra pizzazz just because you kind of get back to what a regular game day is like. Hey, of course, you're going to have to regulate that, right? There's got to be a certain decibel level that you can't go surpass, and you'll have to have people doing that. So if they decide to do that, it'll be very interesting how they regulate it, when to do it, when not to do it. And, I think you'd have to have probably a third. I'm just thinking out loud. So great question. And if that goes down the first few weeks, I'll definitely have an answer for you.
All right, thank you. And thanks for your time, Mitch. Good luck this season.
Thank you very much. Excuse me.
Yep, Mitch, it's Mark Gahn from the Buffalo News. Thank you for joining us. Just very simply, what are you seeing from Harrison Phillips, a year out now, or 11 months now out from his injury? And that's number one. And two, just your impressions of the pass rush in general.
Yeah, great question. That's such a devastating injury he went through. Having to get incisions and really invasive work on both knees. Excuse me. What I've seen from Harry is he's playing strong, he's playing confident, and every day he's building on that. A guy who's always taken his role seriously and was really struck hard by this and had to do some soul searching. And he's come out and played with fire, and I'm very proud of him. And he's come back to his old self, very strong, very strong. Really bracing down on those knees of his and trusting it, and it's fun to see. And I think he'd probably say the same thing.
And then the pass rush in general.
Oh, and the pass rush, yeah. It's exciting. The guys are moving. We got guys who can really move and penetrate, and they're always moving towards the spot. And they play with tenacity that's pretty fun. And it'll be exciting to see that as the weeks progress.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, that's all we have for Mitch. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.